love this music.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the live stream again. Apologies for starting with a delay. Welcome back. I hope everyone's had an amazing day and everyone's excited for this live stream today. I'm not going to be talking, but my guest is mostly going to be talking about applying as an international student. We've had so many questions sent in about it. She's going to introduce herself now and kind of just tell us how she is, her story, her application story. So Iram, if you just want to introduce yourself, who are you?
Hello guys, I'm an international student with Fran. I go to Erasmus, I do engineering, and I'm from Turkey. In my application process, I mostly applied to US schools, which was kind of different from what most people who go to Oxford did. So you can ask me any questions about the US application process and how it compares to the UK process. And I'm going to try to answer all of your questions.
Amazing. And to kind of just start the live stream and get like all the important facts out there, would you be able to say like which universities you applied to, so both from the UK and the US, and then go on to talk about the differences between the application processes? That might take you a few minutes, but feel free to take your time.
Okay. Okay, so firstly, for the UK, I applied to Imperial, UCL, and Oxford, and I filled in all of my 5 choices because I applied to 2 different subjects, both in UCL and in Imperial. So in UCL, I think I applied to mechanical engineering with finance, and the other one I applied to was computer science something. And in Imperial, I applied to, again, mechanical engineering with finance or management or something like that. And the other subject I applied to was computer science with artificial intelligence. And then in Oxford, I applied to engineering. In the US, it's a bit of a long list. But basically, I applied to all of the Ivy League universities: Harvard, Yale, Princeton, UPenn, Dartmouth. I didn't apply to Cornell. I applied to Brown. I don't know. UCLA, Berkeley. What else? I forget. Georgia Tech, California Tech, Stanford. Obviously, Stanford. It was my dream school actually. And what else? Duke. I'm blanking out. Seriously, I applied to about 30 schools in the US. So I'm blanking out. But if you have any specific university in mind, I'm sure I probably applied to it.
I remember the first time. Oh, sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
No, go on.
I was gonna say, I remember the first time like I spoke to you about like which universities you applied to, and I was in such shock because in the US you're able to apply to, like, is there even a limit to how many colleges you can apply to?
So basically, the United States has this specific application called the Common App. It's kind of like UCAS, but also kind of different because it has a personal statement and it has a section where you can put in all of your extracurricular activities and your internships and stuff. But also, each of the schools has its own unique application within the Common App. So you have to write additional essays for most of the schools I mentioned. There are some schools who don't require additional essays, but most of the schools I applied to required at least 2 or 3 additional essays. But they all kind of like converge at some point. For example, most schools have this why essay. For example, why Columbia, why Princeton, why Yale. You kind of have to describe what your why you would be fit for that school. They mostly want to know if you're the type of person they're looking for. And the limit, your question was the limit. Sorry, I got off. The limit to for the Common App, there are 20 schools. Like you can apply to 20 schools via the Common App. but there are ways you can apply to more schools. For example, the University of California schools, the UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, those state schools in California, they have a separate platform, so they're not included in the 20 schools you're applying to. And also there is a coalition app platform, which is really similar to Common App, but most people use it only when they want to apply to more schools. They basically fill out their 20 schools in the Common App and then go on to Coalition App and apply to a bunch of other schools. So.
That seems a lot, and obviously because I was a home student applying from the UK, I only went through UCAS and only applied to 5 universities, which seemed so stressful for me. I can't imagine applying to 30 plus universities. So I guess the natural question to follow on from that is, how did you cope? How did you manage to balance this alongside your studies? And another question that's came in is, did you do A-levels, IGCSE? So I guess you can touch upon what you were studying and how you managed to balance everything.
So, I mean, you kind of, if you're a student applying from Turkey to the universities abroad, you kind of know that it's your fate that you're going to spend a lot of time writing essays, because you have no guarantee of getting in anywhere. And then we have the concept of safe schools. Like we apply to schools that we have a really high chance of getting into, but then those schools aren't usually the schools you want to end up in. So you kind of have to take a chance with the higher schools as well. Going through my process, I did which I'm guessing most UK students will be familiar with. It's the International Baccalaureate. I did the diploma program, so I had 6 classes in IB, 3 standard levels, 3 higher levels. My higher were maths, physics, and computer science, and my standards were English, literature and language, Turkish literature, and world history. And then you also have to do TOK, which is theory of knowledge. You have to write an essay and you have to do a presentation, and then you have to write an extended essay of a topic of your choosing. After we were November. Sorry, we were in November school, which meant that we had our exams in November, and it was kind of helpful because so most of the US applications deadlines are the 31st of December. By New Year's, you've completed most of your applications. And what we did with most of my friends was we first took the IB exams. We finished on the 15th of November, and then I took a month and a half to write all of my US application essays. And by then, the stress of what you guys would have as the stress of A-levels was mostly gone, because I had already been done with my exams, which was really helpful. So I guess that's how we cope with the stress. And some people apply really early in the year, and some people try to start to write their essays from the summer of 11th grade, which is the summer before you graduate. And that's also another way of coping with stress.
Aram, I think you've frozen. Are you back?
Oh.
Yeah, you're back.
I am here.
You're back. I thought you'd frozen for a second. Yeah, just feel free to carry on.
Okay. That's basically it for the application process. Do we have any questions coming in?
Yeah, there's loads that have been sent in. One of the popular ones is asking about your Turkish GPA. I don't know, is that how you're graded there? And a lot of people just want to know kind of, what did you get? And I guess a question that we can link onto that is, as an international student, are you expected to have, more competitive grades than home students, in a sense?
So my Turkish GPA, I'm not entirely sure what it was. I think it was 96 point something.
Is that a percentage?
I mean, it's been a year. Yeah.
That is incredible.
And it was a good GPA. I was I think the 12th in my class, or the 13th or something. I was in the top 10% of my class.
Go
But
you! That's absolutely amazing.
Thank you. It wasn't my Turkish GPA that got me into Oxford or any of the US colleges I got into, because I did IB. I applied to all of the schools with my IB scores. And the Turkish GPA isn't really recognized by Oxford anymore. So you have to do not A levels. You have to do either AP exams, which is the US equivalent of A levels, or you have to do IB.
Is that the same for all universities in the UK, or just Oxbridge?
I know about Oxbridge. It's a new rule. I think it's being implemented the first time for this year. I'm not entirely sure. If you have any Turkish viewers, please check me, because I'm not really sure. But I've heard that's going to be a thing. I'm not sure about the other universities, and I don't think the other universities are going to enforce this rule. But for the US, I know the US also cares about my Turkish GPA, because they want to know where in my class I placed. So the fact that I was in the top 10 made a big difference in the US. But also, the US also wants to know about my IB scores. And in terms of how competitive I need it to be, for the UK, you don't really need to be more competitive than the home students, because for Oxford, for example, you go into the engineering website, and it has a very specific guideline as to what you needed to get. And for IB, it was you needed to have a 7 from HL physics, a 7 from HL math, and a 6 from your third HL. And I got 7s from all of my 3 HL subjects, with physics, maths, and computer science. So I met the conditions for Oxford, and my conditions were the same as any other student would get for engineering.
I think that's kind of really important.
But for the US...
Sorry. I'm so bad at reading when people are going to take breaks. I always just mistime them in my head. But I guess I was going to say it's so important that you highlighted the fact that as international students, you don't need to be more competitive or get better grades than home students, because the websites will provide what they require from all their applicants. And as long as you kind of reach that, you're competitive enough to get an interview at Oxbridge, which I guess is all you kind of need to move on to the next stage in your admissions process. So carry on. Carry on.
I think one of the hardest things as an international student with especially the Oxbridge admissions process is that the tests, I mean, I can talk for the engineering admissions test, which was the PAT, the physics aptitude test. I checked the admissions test topics against the A-level physics and maths topics, and they overlap 100%. But it's not the same with IB and with AP or any other national curriculum we would have. So if I hadn't done IB, and if I didn't have APs or, I don't know, SAT subjects, which aren't really that competitive, I wouldn't have done as well on the admissions test. And it's not about you not being smart or intelligent enough. It's only about the stuff you learn in school being more different than what the UK students learn. So that's I think the only disadvantage an international student has in applying to Oxbridge, especially for my subject. I mean, I don't exactly know about other subjects. But I'm just going to touch upon the previous question about the competitiveness of your grades.
Yeah, go
for
it.
For the US, yes, you do need to have more competitive grades than home students. For example, I know lots of people who got into the top colleges in the US, like Harvard, Stanford, Yale, and their ACT, SAT scores are way, way lower than what the international students get. And it's also harder to get bursaries and financial support as an international student in the US, and it's basically impossible in the UK.
That kind of links on to the next question, which I've got up on the screen, which is a very popular question. It's like you're reading my mind. Next question is, do international students get much financial support, which I guess is what you touched upon? Oh no, none at all. I guess you can elaborate in terms of scholarships, bursaries that are available to different groups of international students. Yeah. How was your experience?
Oxford is really bad at this, guys. I'm sorry. So there is this page that shows all of the scholarships Oxford international students can apply to, and it's not a lot. And even if you get one of those scholarships, they don't really pay for your entire tuition. And considering how our tuition fees are 3 or 4 times as much as the home students, it's really, really expensive to come to Oxford as an international student, which is really sad. But on the bright side, you can apply to external scholarships because there are some foundations that want to support international students in the UK, but you have to do your research really well. I didn't succeed in getting an external scholarship, but
did you apply to any?
For me, I applied to a bunch.
Which ones did you apply to?
Scholarships. I don't remember the names, to be honest.
No worries.
I don't think I applied to any external scholarships, but I applied to 3 Oxford scholarships.
Okay.
And for Turkish students, there is this one specific scholarship. Like if you go onto the Oxford website, there are scholarships given to students from certain countries, and Turkish students have one specific scholarship, which is the Ertegun scholarship, but it wasn't offered in my year.
That's quite sad.
Yeah, but then it came back. Yeah, I think it it's offered every 2 years or something. I'm not sure.
Because you're already a student, will you have the chance to kind of apply for that when it is on offer, or is it just for first-year students?
I'm not sure. I know who got the scholarship in so in this year's incoming freshers.
Okay.
She's actually a friend of mine. But I'm not sure if I can apply to that scholarship. I'm gonna have to look into that. I mean, that was it's on my checklist for the day.
Bless you. And I guess that is really, really stressful. The fact that, tuition fees are so expensive, and home students are quite lucky that a lot of us are entitled to, maintenance loans and tuition loans from the government. And I could not imagine paying $9,000, which is probably a fifth of what you pay per year. I just could not afford it. My family does not have the money. So I guess the next question is, how have you kind of gone about funding your degree? Have you had to have part-time jobs? Have you been saving for a while? And what tips would you give to international students out there who want to get into Oxford, Cambridge, or UK universities, but maybe, under financial strain? Is there anything they can do?
Saving is really, really important, but at this point, it mostly comes down to what your family is willing to pay, sadly. My family has been really, really supportive of my education all throughout. And one upside was that I went to a private school, but I was on a 100% scholarship there. So that really helped my family save up for my university.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't exactly know what I can offer, and this is really sad because I always wanted to go abroad, and my family has been I've been lucky enough that I have a family that supports me in this, but not everyone is lucky enough, sadly. Yeah. So I don't have that much advice.
No worries.
Okay, wait.
She's got it. She got it.
I have one piece of advice.
I just saw that light bulb moment.
The UK is really bad at this, but there are lots of schools much cheaper and as good in Europe. Go for the Netherlands, go for Italy, English degrees, English bachelor's degrees. And also some schools in the US have really nice financial help programs. Some schools are actually need blind, which is...
need blinds?
Okay, so in the US, so in the US, there's this concept that if you're an international student and if you're applying with financial aid, you're automatically disadvantaged. So you have to be twice as good as the other applicants in the pool, which is basically impossible. But there are need blind schools, which means that they don't take your financial aid applications into account. They just
they look at you without kind of seeing your they look at you anonymously in a sense.
Yeah.
Are they aware of things like your name, your ethnicity? Are they aware of that, or do they not get to see that at all?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, okay.
They are, and I think they probably do a lot of positive discrimination towards minorities, and especially for women in STEM subjects.
STEM, yeah.
I know, for example, California Tech has a female to male ratio of 40-60. So they do their best to give more offers to female
women,
students
to kind of level that playing
because they
field.
want to. Yeah. I think Oxford doesn't do that because our ratios are far worse. And if they were doing that, I don't think we would have still been here. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm just thinking, wait, is that a good thing or I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't like when people tell me, like, I have this one friend who always jokes about how I got into Oxford Engineering because I was female and they need to match the quota.
I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
The annoying thing is you'll never know. Yeah. You'll never know. Especially, I mean, I know the US practices this quite a lot. I think it's called affirmative action, where they kind of make it easier for people from minority groups to get into university on the basis that, you know, they're disadvantaged, so they're dumber. A bit like eugenics or that kind of thing, which I wouldn't like the idea of. Like, as you said, imagine like being in university and thinking, oh, I only got into university because I'm a woman or because I'm from a minority group. I don't think you got into university because of that.
Not
like,
nice.
You deserved your place.
Thank you. That's so nice. The thing is, with the US, you kind of get to exploit your disadvantaged positions in your essays, which is something international students do a lot. I know lots of people wrote, like, I don't want to say exploit. Obviously, it's a great part of your identity, but I know that lots of university counselors, which is a concept we have here in Turkey, you pay a lot of money to get some counseling with your essays, which is not really nice, but you kind of have to do it. And those counselors mostly have you play on your minority positions. So if you're, for example, LGBTQ, they totally want you to include that in your personal statement and talk about the adversities you've faced in Turkey as an LGBTQ person. And that's a good thing. I mean, embracing your identity, when applying to the US, is a good thing. But sometimes it becomes a little disingenuous.
Yeah, I get you. I guess it's important to realize that we're so much more than just, you know, these groups that we're so much more than labels, if that makes sense. And I guess it's such a shame that people have to play to their weaknesses or play to their struggles to get into university. Like, that shouldn't be a thing in the first place. It should be so level that it doesn't matter. But obviously that's not the world we live in. But yeah, if you care to just elaborate on that.
I mean, I didn't really. I had lots of essays where I mentioned women in STEM, and that's been an actual struggle for me all throughout high school. But I've had really supportive teachers and a really supportive family, so I was really lucky in that way. But it is definitely something I've mentioned in my US applications, because it was just what we were expected to do, basically. I didn't love that, but
you just got to do what you've got to do.
Yeah.
And kind of leading on from that, at Oxford studying engineering, how have your experiences kind of matched to the application process? So has the fact that you are kind of a woman, so a minority within such a male dominated field, affected your experiences?
It's been mostly positive. I have great subject friends. My engineer friends at Brasenose are all amazing. They've all I have faced no sexism from my Brasenose engineer friends. They're all great.
Amazing.
I have had some sexist comments from other engineering students at Brasenose, and I've for example, labs are usually a pain because some people from my lab group assume that I will be bad at some things just because I'm a woman. And it's kind of apparent.
That's infuriating.
I had this one. one lab partner. Um, it was not a nice lab day when I had that one specific lab partner who always assumed I was going to be bad at things. But yeah, shout out to my Brazenose engineer gang. I love them.
Shout out to
They've always been
Brazenose.
so supportive. Yep. And I also have a great female tutor. Perla is one of my favorite tutors. I love all of my tutors, but Perla has been such an inspiration for me and Tilly, the only other female engineer at Brazenose.
Shout out to Paola if you're watching my live, which you're probably not.
I'll tell her I gave her a shout out. She actually got a department award this year for being one of the most inspiring tutors.
Oh, we love it. Congratulations to her.
So as a female engineer, I mean, I do have people to look up to, and I do have other women in my department that we like work side by side. One of my best friends from the engineering department, İpek, is also, I mean, a woman. How do you put that? I mean, that's
Oh, I'm dying.
Shout out to İpek, I guess.
Shout out to just everyone. I guess it's shout out day. You highlighted something so important in the fact that having people who represent you in the fields, places you want to go to, is so powerful because you have them to look up to and you have them as role models. So that's so amazing that we have more and more women within STEM as students and also as, you know, professionals, researchers, and all of that. That is absolutely amazing. We've seen the change.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess we can kind of move on to the next question, which has been about why you chose to go international instead of staying at home, taking into consideration the great amount of cost for you.
This has a really simple answer. Politics and the social ongoings in Turkey. I don't know if the viewers know a lot about Turkey, but as much as I love my country, it's not the greatest place to live in right now. And the education I was going to receive here is not the best education because so we have private universities and we have public universities. Private universities cost a lot too. I mean, not as much as Oxford because of the exchange rates, which have been going absolutely crazy this past week. For reference, at the end of Hillary, £1 cost 7.7 Turkish liras, and right now it costs 9.6 Turkish liras, and it's not going good.
That's crazy.
Our economy is.
That is absolutely crazy.
Our economy just
That's
crashed.
Probably because of like all the uncertainty with kind of COVID-19. Like the economy everywhere has just been going.
I mean, we've been doing okay with COVID-19, but Turkey is just a weird place, and our politics sucks. So our politicians, like our president, I don't know if I should say this live on YouTube.
if you don't think you should say it, honestly, don't say it before we end up getting into like a political debates.
Guys, this is actually a concern. Turkey, like we have laws that are scary about like freedom of speech on social media. I mean, I'm quite political on Twitter, but any day now.
Oh no, don't say that.
Basically, the answer to that question is Turkey is not a great place to be in right now. As much as I love my country, the education I would get anywhere else abroad was like not even comparable to the education I would get in Turkey, because our universities are also controlled by the government, and their quality of education is going down every day. And it was going to be much more effective for me to get an education abroad. And if I want to come back to Turkey, I can come back with a really cool, fancy Oxford degree. So I can always come back here and be a positive addition to my country.
We love that. And you're doing so well, and you're literally setting such an amazing kind of example for prospective international applicants all across the world, the people watching this live right now. So we're so proud of you, Iram, here on this channel. Next question, and this is kind of backtracking. We're going to talk about the IB, which you did. right? Yes, yes.
Yep.
And someone's asked kind of what were your IB predicted grades, and they're struggling to raise their score in chemistry, biology, and psychology. I know you didn't do some of those subjects, but they're asking for IB related tips and advice. So go for it. I have nothing to say about this because I didn't do it.
Okay. My IB predicted was quite high. I got a predicted of 44. I got predicted 7s from all of my subjects and a predicted 2 from my core. So I have 6 subjects, and out of 42, you get like 6 subjects times 7 out of 7. All of the subjects are out of 7, and like my subject predicted was 42 out of 42, and for the core 3 points, I got a predicted of 2. My predicted for the core were, I think, B and B, like B from extended essay and B from TOK. I'm not sure. It could have been B and C. And I think I got a band 2 points. For biology and chemistry, I'm not really sure. Actually, I have a friend here right now with me who did biology and chemistry.
Would you mind featuring on the channel?
Do you have any advice to raise chemistry and biology scores in IB?
I guess it's probably very different when you're doing like IB in different schools, because like you had a lot of problems with internal assessments. But I would say like the exams, they are.
Hi, welcome to the channel.
Sorry. I brought in an expert for biology.
This is great, man. I'm literally getting 2 international students for one. I love it.
Yeah, collaborative work. So I would say like one of the most important parts about getting high grades in biology and chemistry, because you have more control of it, because a part of the IB that you do in school is called the internal assessments, and it's actually easier to get higher grades in that than like getting higher grades in the exams, because a lot of things change on the exam days. So if you get if you establish your internal assessment grades, it's great for you. It's probably going to affect your score very much. So I would say like schedule your internal assessments well. We had a lot of scheduling and like planning problems, and like if you have a great idea, I would say like the teachers usually try to support you very well. So if you have your idea and you have your scheduling down, everything's going to work out fine. It's gonna be great, guys.
Amazing, amazing. It's gonna be great. Oh, thank you so much for your friend popping in to give advice. I love that. I absolutely love that, and I hope that kind of answered your question, Lakshmi, as to kind of how to boost your score for the IB. And the next question that has been sent in. Ooh, okay, right. Before we move on to the next one about international applications, someone has just asked, hey Fran, can I take AS levels and A-level tests in the same year? And I think this is a possibility. You can do that. Just make sure to check with your schools. I'm aware of like plenty of students who did kind of AS and A-level maths within the same year. It's all about whether your school can facilitate and accommodate for you sitting both exams in the same year. Yeah, but definitely check with your school. It is a possibility. Next question for you, Iram, is about your experiences at Oxford as an international student. So this is sent in by Vidashi. Sorry if I butchered your name. And they ask, was it easy to settle into Oxford as an international student?
Okay. It wasn't that hard because I had a great French school, and I think one of the greatest advantages I had from like coming from high school is that I went to an American high school, which meant that I spoke in English for 5 years in high school. Like obviously my native language is Turkish and English is not my native language, but I was pretty fluent in English by the time I got it. Like I came to Oxford. So I think that's step one in easy settling in a foreign country. If you're fluent in the language of that country, it's going to be much easier. Like everything's going to come much more naturally to you. And other than that, as I said, I had the best friend circle in Oxford. All of the people I met, Fran being one of those wonderful people. They've all been just like welcoming and accommodating. helping me. I forget words, just as Fran has been doing in this live stream. Just
sorry, not sorry.
And being really receptive to my culture. I have the greatest example of this. My best friend Becky learns some Turkish phrases because it makes me happy.
Oh, that is wholesome. That's so wholesome.
Thing we can do for an international.
Oh, now I feel like I'm slacking. Iram, can you teach me some Turkish?
No. That's not. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm just... How do you say hi at least?
You're
how do you say hi at least? Or hello? Is it hello?
Hi is merhaba.
Okay, yeah, we'll try learning Turkish another day because I can't even pronounce that. That was so complicated just to say hello. Okay, no. Carry on with what you were saying.
Don't worry, we'll work on
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Carry on, sorry.
I don't know. Do we have any other specific questions? Because settling, I mean, it was mostly fine for me. I had been preparing myself for the idea of living abroad for university for quite a long time. I had been aiming to study abroad as soon as I went into high school, so it was 5 years for me, 5 years to prepare mentally. So I think that's one of the best things you can do if you are going to study abroad or like aiming to study abroad. Just be prepared for the fact that you're going to be very far away from your family, but also be open to having new experiences, because living in the UK has been a really, really different experience for me, and it's been so nice. I miss it so much.
Honestly,
we're
less than 2 months away though from going back to Oxford, which is nice.
Yeah, I only have like a month left because I'm gonna arrive early to like self-isolate, precautionary. Yeah.
Oh, exciting stuff. The next question, which kind of links onto your experiences at Oxford, was what was the biggest cultural shock and how did you make friends with home students?
Biggest cultural shock, that's a hard one.
I guess if you can't think of one, you can maybe like say your top 2 or top 3.
Yeah, I think it was how cheap alcohol was.
You're gonna get this video demonetized.
That's not exactly a cultural shock, but like I think I'm not sure. I came from a like relatively progressive circle because I went to one of like most progressive schools in Turkey. So I was mostly knowledgeable about the European culture, but I guess one of the big culture shocks would have been what's dorms, like boys and girls together in dorms. Co-ed dorms.
Co-ed. Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that was a thing. Like both genders, like
boys and girls together.
Oh, okay.
Living in the same building, sharing bathrooms, sharing kitchens.
Yeah.
That's not really a thing in Turkey. It's all separated.
It's usually separated.
So that was one of the and other than that, I had to learn where to get items. Like I didn't know what Argos was. I didn't know what Boots was. I didn't know what Tesco was. I didn't know what Sainsbury's was. We all have equivalents of those in Turkey, but I remember for the interviews, someone told me when I was in the interviews, I forgot my adapter. So we have separate outlets, wall like electrical outlets. We have the European style, and I forgot to bring adapter for that, and I needed to charge my phone. I asked one of the interview helpers to point me in the direction of where I could get an adapter. They sent me to Argos. And
Argos is pretty far.
I mean, yeah, I guess they could have sent me to Tesco or something, because Tesco also has adapters, but they don't have any international helpers in the interview. So I think the person who helped me didn't really know where to get adapters, but they assumed it would be in Argos because Argos has electrical supplies.
Everything electrical.
And I remember going into Argos and being absolutely confused because how do you get you have to fill out you have to choose your product from the catalog, and then you have to fill out that little thing, and then you have to pay for it, and then they bring you the box. I was ready to look for the box myself, but I was so confused when I got in there, and I had to ask someone to help me. Thankfully they did, and I remember going back in the JCR and talking about how confusing Argos was as an international student. And I think it was Harry Best who remembers me from the interviews as the girl who
got confused by Argos. I love that. At least you were memorable.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I guess, we can move on to the next question, which is about why you chose UK universities over the US. I mean, you applied to like 1 trillion universities in the US. Was there a specific reason that you kind of accepted Oxford? Was it cheaper? What was your reasons?
My first reason was that I didn't get into a university as good as Oxford in the US. That was reason number one. I applied to all of the best ones, but I didn't get into any of those. I think the best school I got into was Georgia Tech and UCLA. They were kind of on par with each other in terms of engineering. And I was I considered going to UCLA, but then there was Oxford. Oxford. So I opted for, although it was my dream to go to the US all along. And since I've been in the UK, I am realizing there are a lot of advantages of going to university in the UK from Turkey. First one being its proximity to Turkey, because if I had gone to UCLA, it would have meant 10-hour flights and a 10-hour time difference. So it would have been really disorienting going back and forth between home and university. Whereas for the UK, it's a 4-hour flight and 3-hour time difference in the winter and 2-hour time difference in the summer. It's a Turkey thing. It's a weird Turkey thing.
It's a Turkey thing.
We have weird time zones. And another good thing about studying in the UK from Turkey is that people are actually really knowledgeable about Turkey. They have come to vacations in Turkey, and they know we don't speak Arabic. They know where Turkey is situated, geographically, because in the US, I went to a summer school once in the US, and this was in Yale. I mean, a summer school in Yale, and I had lots of questions asking me whether we spoke Russian, whether we were Iranian, whether we were Ukrainian. One guy actually thought that Turkey was the country being invaded by Russia, which I guess meant that he thought we were Ukraine. And I was
people
really
don't
shocked.
know their geography over there.
People ask me, sorry?
People don't know their geography over there.
They really don't. And I had lots of people ask me why I was wearing shorts, why I wasn't wearing a hijab, why I wasn't Muslim, and all that stuff. UK has been relatively good in that sense. They know my city's name. Most people know where Istanbul is.
Yeah.
Some people have seen Istanbul, which is nice. They know that we have a really complicated history and culture and ethnicity. So UK people are far more knowledgeable about Turkey, which is good in terms of alleviating prejudices against Turkish people. And another big advantage is that studying in the UK is far cheaper than studying in the US if you don't have financial aid. Because a US university, an Oxford level US university, costs about $70,000 a year. And that's just
$70,000 a year.
Yeah.
That is almost the price of a house. That is That is so shocking. Oh my gosh! And how much was the Oxford for you, if you don't mind saying, a year?
Oxford for me. So weird thing about Oxford and most UK universities is it depends on what degree you're doing. In Oxford, if you're doing any degree other than engineering and medicine, it's 27K a year. And if you're doing engineering or medicine, it's 34K.
Okay. I
I guess
assume it's a
that's
lot more
because we have
expensive.
lots of
Yeah, because of labs and stuff like that.
yeah, lots of equipment. I mean, Oxford has top-notch lab equipments. No complaints there.
Yeah.
Our labs are great. So I guess it kind of, I mean, it doesn't really justify, but what can you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Sadly.
And at least 34, K is not 70K that you'd have in the US, which is crazy. I'm so shocked to hear that. And I mean, earlier you talked about how what made you, one of the factors going into why you picked the UK was because we were more understanding of kind of the culture of Turkey, and there's going to be, we were less ignorant, if that makes sense. And that's quite enlightening, and that's the first time I've heard that as a reason. And that's quite incredible that kind of the difference in people's understanding and awareness of Turkey and its history can impact on someone's experiences at university. So thank you for sharing that with us. Is there any other reasons that you applied to the UK, that you accepted the UK over the US?
I guess that was mostly it. I mean, I was always aiming really high in the US. My dream school was Stanford and then Princeton for some time, but I didn't get into neither. I can't know why, but Stanford, I'm suspecting the fact that I applied for financial aid had a lot to do in it. I'm not saying I would have gotten in if I hadn't applied for financial aid, because Princeton is actually NEET blind and I still didn't get in. So obviously there was something else going on. But if I had gotten into Stanford or Princeton, I would have probably chosen to go there. But right now, if I would have had if I would have known what I was going to live, how I was going to live in the US and versus the UK, I would have probably chosen the UK.
Yay!
Because, definitely. I mean, the UK, for example, the health system. The US healthcare system sucks. Absolutely.
For sure.
Even if you have insurance. I know some people say the NHS needs more help, but it's really far better than the US healthcare system as it is.
Definitely.
And it would be great if the NHS had more funding and so on. But as it is much, much better than the US healthcare system.
For sure.
And other than that, for example, in the US, if you go to a campus university like Cornell, one of my best friends goes to Cornell, and it is in the state of New York, but it's like a 5-6 hour drive to New York City as itself, and they can't really go anywhere outside the campus without a car because it's all so far away. Whereas in Oxford, you can just walk everywhere, and you can go to London if you want to see a big city. It's a 1 hour train ride, 2.5 hours of bus ride. You can, the distances are closer together. The US is really far, spread out. And I think, and the weather in the UK, most people don't like the weather in the UK, but I'd rather have rainy weather all the time than have minus 30 degrees all the
tornadoes.
time. Yeah. But UCLA would have been nice. I mean, sunny California, it would have been really nice.
California does seem like the ideal landscape dream. But I'm happy that you ended up in Oxford and that you didn't get the offers from the US, because you wouldn't have came to Oxford and I would have never met you. Moving on to the next question quickly, because we're almost at the 1 hour mark. And this is sent in by Youssef, who asks, for international students that can't come to the UK for their interviews, do they get the chance to do it online?
Yeah, absolutely. Kunal is a biologist friend of ours, and he did his interviews online. He was applying from the US. He did online interviews. I didn't, but they gave me the option to. But I wanted to come and see Oxford for myself, because I didn't really I didn't really like consider coming to Oxford before I came and saw Oxford, and I was just mesmerized by Brasenose and by
She
Oxford
fell in
itself.
love
So
with the college.
I really did fall in love with Oxford. I mean, I may have chosen UCLA over Oxford if I hadn't come and seen Oxford. But if you can't come, you obviously can do online interviews.
For sure. Okay, thank you so much for kind of giving the answer on that question. I hope that's kind of helped. One of the final questions that we're going to take, there's been a question on how to pronounce your name. Someone's asked, is it Iram, Iram? I hope I've been pronouncing it correctly. How do you pronounce it, like, properly?
It's all right. It's Iram.
Iram. Iram.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
basically, I've just been saying it wrong the whole, like, the past year.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I mean, lots of people. It's perfectly fine. I don't really dwell on how people pronounce my name. But I remember Chloe once like actually worked on pronouncing my name right, and when she got it right, I was really surprised and it was really cute. So
Aww.
It's always nice to hear your name. Yeah.
For sure. One of the last ones, I know I've said this like over like for the past 5 minutes, but sent in by Max, who asks, what would your advice be for EU students willing to study at Oxbridge in regards to the Brexit and change in fee status? Would you say it's still worth the money for a course such as medicine, which you've already kind of highlighted costs a lot more than other courses?
Mm-hmm. I guess this kind of depends what your I don't know how to put this. So, for my family, it's always been top priority that I get the top education in the entire world. And when I had the opportunity to come to like the #1 university in the world about doing that, I mean, I think I'm getting my like the worth of my money in an Oxford education. I don't like. I'm not regretting my decision to come to Oxford, but it certainly depends on your perspective and how ambitious you are, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's not. You can be like, it's perfectly reasonable not to be the most ambitious person in the world, and I think it's healthier than being the most ambitious people in the world.
I like
so
that.
Just,
I like that.
Just do whatever you feel. Yeah, because we were always taught to be the most ambitious, like go for the top schools, top 20 schools. Anything other than Harvard was unacceptable. And then as time goes on, it kind of takes a big toll on your mental health, and you stress out a lot. And then you go to university, you end up somewhere. And most of my friends realize that it doesn't really matter where you go for university as long as you're happy there.
For sure.
I mean, we don't really talk about the rankings of our universities anymore. We just know that we go to a uni and we're happy there.
You're happy,
That's
exactly.
what it matters anymore.
And especially for courses such as medicine, where, you know, especially in the UK, whichever university you end up at, if you graduate, you're still going to be a doctor and start off at the same kind of first year post as another person. And it's not as if once you graduate and you're a junior doctor, you're talking about which universities you went to and the rankings of the medical schools.
Exactly.
It just doesn't happen. So as Iram said, the most important thing is that you're going to a university that you enjoy and you're having a good time. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That is definitely super insightful and helpful. And I think the final question for today, I'm sorry for the ones that we haven't been able to answer, is can you please share your extracurriculars? And I thought this was an important question because now you can talk about being Model UN. Did you not want to? I thought you did. Did you not want to?
I did. I okay. This is gonna be a long list.
Oh no. Okay. Try and summarize it in like 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
Go.
Starting, I was in the swimming team. I was in
the
choir. Yeah, but
I used to swim as well. It's pretty cool.
I was just in the team.
Okay.
I was a licensed swimmer, but I was the worst one on the team. But I was still on the team, and it still went onto my CV. So
of course.
I was in the choir. I was in student council for 2 years. 1 year as the 9th grade representative, and 1 year as a treasurer. I was in MUN for 5 years. I started out as an admin, which is like the lowest position, and then you work your way up, and I worked my way all the way to the secretariat. I was the executive coordinator of our conference, of our NUN conference. For anyone who doesn't know what NUN is, Model United Nations. It's a simulation of the United Nations. You basically get to dress up and discuss world issues and write resolutions on those world issues.
Love it.
It's really like it's kind of pretentious. I'm okay with saying that. I'll admit it's really, really pretentious actually, but it also widens your perspective on the world, and it really educates you about all of the world issues you otherwise would not have thought about. And I've learned a lot of country names, which is nice. I've learned how to pronounce lots of country names. I've learned about the United Nations, about how effective and ineffective they are in some places. I've learned about war crimes and cool stuff like that. So basically, yeah, MUN is a nice club.
It seems amazing. It seems really, really interesting. And you're going to have to teach me about some of the stuff you learned. Did you have to like go? Did you get to travel?
A lot, yeah. I mean, a lot as in I got to travel. I got to go to the Netherlands 4 times because the Netherlands has lots of big MUN conferences, and I went to 4 conferences in the Netherlands. Yeah, it was really nice. I still have my Dutch friends. I still talk to my Dutch friends from the Netherlands. And other extracurriculars, summing this up, I also did a lot of STEM extracurriculars. Mainly, we had this coding competition called CodeFest. We were organizing the CodeFest, and it was like a coding competition for high school students, organized by our high school. And I also did FRC. Shout out to FRC related everything. I love robotics so much. FRC stands for First Robotics Competition, and you basically build robots and have them fight in an arena. Just go.
To be fair, I would pay to. I'd pay to watch that going down. Did your robot win?
It's so good, friend. Check out. There is this YouTube channel called Cheesy Poofs, I think.
Cheesy Poofs.
Cheesy Poofs, yeah. Team 237, I think.
You're gonna have to send me the message, and actually, could you type it in the comment section? Actually.
Yep.
If anyone's interested in robotics or seeing robots fighting, check out this link, which you'll put in the comment section.
Yep. It's just go and watch these guys' YouTube videos. Their robots are top notch, and they're just amazing.
I love that.
Just amazing.
I love that. So yeah, is that kind of all like the extracurriculars you did, like all the main ones?
Yeah, all the main ones. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I wish we could like stay on this live for longer to discuss all the other questions that have been sent in. But before we kind of go, I promise this is the last one. And this is sent in by Youssef. Okay, and although we kind of addressed it earlier in the live, maybe some people joined a bit later. But one of the questions I've been getting is, did you get any financial aid? I assume kind of external financial aid. If you quickly kind of want to summarize, because you've kind of already mentioned it. Oh, Imran, where have you gone?
Sorry, I'm here. I got a call on my phone.
Okay.
That's right.
Cool.
Sadly, I didn't get any financial aid. Sadly. Just a no.
Yeah.
I had been saving up a lot for university, and we did struggle with finances with my family, but as I said, education has always been top priority for my family, so we sold a lot of stuff and just like got my tuition, and I still don't have my 3rd and 4th year tuition set aside, which is stressful, but I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I hope we'll figure something out.
We're kind of like working on a day-to-day basis here. Yeah.
Oh, I hope it all works out in the end. Fingers and my toes and everything else crossed for you. And yeah, I'm super excited to see you in much. 2 months' time when I return to Oxford. Obviously, you'll already have been there for like a month, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So yeah, Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for giving up your time again, because you did the live stream before as well, to answer the questions for prospective international applicants. And just thank you for your brilliant energy and your answers. I hope kind of the viewers have enjoyed watching this live stream. We've had a lot of comments coming through saying how people, you know, they're not international applicants, but they've just found this live stream really interesting and about hearing your story, which is amazing. So I guess, yeah, if you don't have anything else to say, we'll end this live stream.
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for having me, Fran.
No problem. Honestly, my blessing. And yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. Make sure to give it a fat thumbs up, and a reminder to everyone who follows me on Instagram, I'm doing like a fat giveaway and it ends tomorrow, so definitely go to my channel, my Instagram page straight after this, and enter, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you for joining us once more. Stay tuned for future live streams on my channel. We're gonna love you and leave you, and see you guys in the next live stream. Bye.